If I ever have my own business, I hope it has a really clever name like Ruby Tattoos Days. The king of Staten Island answers the question, what if Pete Davidson never did stand up comedy? So, for those of you who are not familiar with this film, it is directed by Judd Apatow, and it also stars Bill Burr, Marissa Tomei, and Steve Buscemi, who actually used to be a firefighter before he was an actor, and during the terrorist attacks of 9/11, he went back to his old firehouse and worked with those guys, which is really cool. So overall, I liked this film. I don't know if it's a movie that I would watch again, but I did enjoy it. And while I wouldn't describe Pete Davidson as the greatest actor alive, I think his performance here is quite special. And I liked seeing him do something that wasn't full on comedy. There were drama aspects to this performance. And as I was watching the film, I went back and forth on whether to give this film a 3 out of 5 or a 3.5 out of 5. Ultimately, I decided that it was more on the same tier as the 3.5 movies that I've watched versus the 3 out of 5 movies that I've watched. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is that, like I said, the director is Judd Apatow, and as you can see here, he directed Trainwreck, Knocked Up, and The 40-Year-Old Virgin. I have not seen any of those movies. I think it's possible I may have seen another one of Apatow's movies. I don't hate the guy or anything, but I'm just not super familiar with Apatow's work. Obviously, I've heard of all three of those movies. I've definitely heard of The 40-Year-Old Virgin. I know it has Steve Carell in it. That being said, I don't know if Judd Apatow is someone whose work I would enjoy. I don't typically adore comedy movies to begin with, and that seems to be where he lives. But if you are a fan of Judd Apatow movies, I think you will like this one. If you like Steve Buscemi or Bill Burr or Marissa Tomei, or maybe if you're just a fan of Pete Davidson when he was on SNL, I think you will enjoy this movie. That being said, though, if you don't like any of those things that I just said, this movie is probably not for you. It's definitely not a must watch. It's not an essential film, but it is one that ever since I had seen the trailer for, I was like, that movie seems a little interesting. Also, one of the songs in this movie plays at my work pretty frequently, and I finally learned the band. It's the Wallflower song. So, yeah, overall, like I said, this movie's fine. I am giving it a 3.5 out of 5, but it's probably not a movie that I will watch again, but I enjoyed it. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on this film. If you've seen it, let me hear your thoughts down below, and have a great day.